to another edition of the Stogie Review video review. This week I have something a little different than usual. It is not me sitting back smoking a cigar, going through the first, second. In 3, 2, 1. Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Stogie Review video review. Up this week we have something a little different than usual. It's not Brian, Jerry, or I sitting on camera smoking a cigar. It is, in fact, a blind cigar review. How it works is I took a handful of unbanded cigars, all of which were the same. In this case, they happen to be the La Aurora 1495 Connecticut wrapped cigar from the Connoisseur selection. I took them down to my local cigar shop, which is Kensington Tobacconist in West Reading, Pennsylvania. And I sat down with 5 of the guys, and I handed them a blind review paperwork, which was basically 5 sheets, 4 or 5 pages of notes that I typed up, and I just kind of left lots of space for them to write whatever they needed to within those spaces. And just turned the camera on and let it go. You'll find in the video that I played a very small part in the video itself. I guided the discussion from one topic to the next. That was about it. Because I had smoked the cigars before, I knew what they were. I wanted to stay completely out of it. I didn't want to influence their opinion on the cigar. I wanted them to sort of formulate their own opinion. So sit back and enjoy, I don't know, sort of being the fly on the wall at a blind cigar review. Again, cigar number 1 is the La Aurora 1495 Connoisseur selection, which has the Connecticut wrapper.
And then he's going to complain.
Then he's going to say it's not good enough.
I'm surprised you don't have tips, huh?
Yours is perfect.
Yeah.
Yours is good. Mine's slightly veiny. His is fine.
Mine's veiny. Just a little bit oily. But pretty
Oily's good.
Yeah. Yeah, not real bad, just a little bit.
I don't feel this is
The only thing I'm going to tell you about this cigar is this Robusto. It's 5x50.
Right.
It's what cigar manufacturers consider to be the optimal size for
Correct.
for cigar tasting, because
Right.
there's a lot of leaf, you get a lot of wrapper and a lot of filler.
Right.
So, that's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you where it's from until afterwards, because I think you'll be a little surprised by the result.
Okay.
First thing you want to do is just look over the cigar. Pretty much follow the sheet. That's all we need to do.
It's got like a earthy smell.
So I put slightly veiny.
Whatever you think.
soft, compressible, I call it, but not hard.
Mine seems a little hard.
When you say veiny, you mean the vein of the leaf.
Yeah, the
See
vein.
this?
See that?
See this
You
here?
feel it?
See how that is?
They're coming through.
Yeah, that's veiny.
That's veiny. If it's very veiny, you can feel like Jess's is a lot smoother than mine.
Yeah. But see how that one sticks up a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course Jesse gets the good one, you know.
What's pre-light flavor? You just
Before you light it up, pre-light. How the fuck did you get through medical school?
I didn't smoke
There we
cigars
go.
then.
The offline critique.
I smoked Swisher Sweets.
Oh, I cut the wrong toe off. Shit. Call Jim Bly. He'll fix it.
You know, this tasted a little citrusy. I think.
Let's see. I'm gonna say it as a. It does have a nice appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you think? Anyone have any flaws in the wrapper? Any
No.
spots, cracks?
Nope, not at all.
Good across the board?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
cap
you
is...
pre-screened them, didn't you?
Someone had to take the bands off. Now on the back of the sheet, I don't want you to get
Time out
overwhelmed.
for a second. We're still in pre-light conditions, right?
Yeah. To overwhelm you? Well, that's the idea, was not to overwhelm you. There's some generic descriptions of everything on the back. The minute flavors aren't important. I really don't care about that. What I do care about is if you like it, why do you like it? I don't necessarily care whether or not you pick up a certain flavor, but there is a guideline on the back which will help. And the very back page is actually a tobacco flavor wheel, which will help as well. So feel free to refer back to them all you like. Don't necessarily have to be very descriptive. Just be sure to let us know why you like it or why you don't like it.
Well, the ones I use are already there, so.
Please
I guess I
describe
must
the
have
aroma
had it.
on the wrapper at the exposed foot. Pleasant.
That's another chart. You can't even look that one yet.
Anyone want to take a guess at what the wrapper is?
It's very thin. What it's where it came from?
No, what type of tobacco leaf it is.
Like Cameroon. It's not a Connecticut, I can tell you that. It's not a Cameroon either. This is a Connecticut,
It is
dark
It
Connecticut.
is a Connecticut. It's a little darker than usual. It's not that light blonde color,
Right.
but it
But
is
it's
a Connecticut.
thin. But it's real thin. That's
It
what
is
Connecticut's.
Yeah.
Connecticut's usually
Cameroon
very
is
thin.
very thin too.
They're really thin.
Yeah,
They're like on the Olivia.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This sure didn't look like Connecticut to me. It looked like more of a Dominican. But then again, Dominicans use a lot of Connecticut shade.
Right.
So I'm only half of
But
them.
they use the darker ones of the Connecticut's. Usually a lot of the lighter tasting cigars have that real light brown Connecticut.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right, now we got to light it up.
Yep, feel free to light up whenever you're ready.
It smells like paper right away. Just like paper. It doesn't smell like cigar, it smells like paper.
It's very nice to run.
Yeah, the draw is nice.
Well, it has like a hole punched in the center, that's what it looks like. You look right down the center. Like a draw tube.
What do you think of the lighting process? Is it problematic? Easy to light?
Seems easy.
Normal.
Do you even get a vein that kind of burned funny from the start?
No, not yet. I would say the process is normal. It's starting off very, very mellow. You want to write that down?
Yeah.
Where do you want to put it?
Put it just like you did.
On the comments?
Yeah, anywhere you want.
Alright, let me see.
Emphasis will be on the verbal stuff, but I'm going to send these sheets to the manufacturer.
Alright, got it. Nice draw.
This thing's a little, to me, harsh.
Yeah.
Don't judge it yet because you might have burnt it when you lit it up. When we have a dark thing here, you're getting a little bit of the lighter.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes when you say it's harsh in the beginning, it's the fluid from in there.
From the butane.
Right, that's why the perfect thing is, actually what we should have done is gone out of Kurt's thing, we got some sticks out of the thing and lit them and then lit it with it. You know the cedar? We really wanted to do it right, because I did the same thing, because this thing, you hit it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You pick it up, flavor, you
Butane
pick it up,
burns clean.
come back on that,
Butane burns clean.
but you would still,
No taste. Once it's burnt, it's burnt. Burns clean. What you're getting is you're actually singeing the tobacco.
You're overheating real
You're
fast.
overheating it and you're singeing the tobacco, and
that's just what I said.
Yeah, but you're not tasting the fuel. You're
No, no.
tasting the burnt
Right.
tobacco.
Yeah.
You guys learn fast.
I got one that the wrapper's tending to burn like a paper does. It's curling up right on the edge.
Did it look like it had a... Did it look like there might have been a tear?
You're right about
Now,
the,
see it? See
the
right here?
beginning,
Yeah, I see it.
the beginning draw
Like paper
and,
does.
Kind of rolling back.
Yeah.
and subsequent
It's like,
draws. It's
pulling away
getting a
from the
lot
cigar.
more mellow.
Right.
I'll just say this one.
Yeah, a little lighted, that's good.
Oh, I'm enjoying this more.
So you have a little less.
What do they mean by mouthfeel?
Okay, how to describe that? Drink scotch, bourbon. And how it sort of feels heavy, scotch will feel heavy as opposed to a bourbon, which feels light. That's what I mean by it. Same with wine. It's got a heavy texture.
This is definitely light. It's not heavy.
Yeah. It doesn't really have a character by itself, though. It's kind of like there's nothing there. What'd you get?
I think Benny got the best one out of the bunch.
Yours is.
Look at how white that ash is.
Yeah,
it
you
sure
got it
does.
going.
Right.
Because mine's got that paper finish to it. So
Well, don't forget too. Sometimes though, in an ash, if you look at a Cuban cigar, it's as black as charcoal.
Oh, it is?
It's the thing about I look for on an ash, is it very flaky or does it stay hard?
Yeah.
You know how it stays hard on the mouth?
This is real fine though.
His is fine, you can see that, right? Mine is exactly like Brian's.
Yeah,
Yours
mine's
too.
a much darker gray.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got a nice texture to it. It's a nice tight ash though.
yeah.
Do you think it has a sweet taste?
No.
Right away it did with it. It's like a coating. Sometimes when they wrap them, they use that for like a lubricant. They usually put a little
It
sugar
was
in it.
those, yeah. it was-
Yeah.
I didn't taste no sweetness.
What I did on the cap.
Yeah.
Right when you first put it in your mouth, you can
Put it in
taste
my
it.
mouth, I taste it. That was
They
it.
use the
Didn't
sugar
last.
water to make the cap stick.
Yeah.
Sometimes some guys put a little more sugar to make it stick better, some guys don't. That's usually what you taste right away.
Depends on the manufacturer also.
Yeah.
A lot of them use, what they use is called pectin. And a lot of times what they'll use is a vegetable-based pectin. It's like a vegetable gum.
Yeah.
If you go to the supermarket, you can find it in the canning aisle. You use to make jellies and jams.
Right.
A lot of these places overseas use carrot-based pectin, and it's flavorless.
Hopefully.
Some of them will use fruit-based, which is a little sweet or tart, actually.
That's a manufacturer's thing, though.
And some of them will actually add sweetener to it to make it more appealing to a certain
Certain
demographic.
group. A lot of younger people like the sweet tasting cigars and flavored cigars.
I don't think there's any chocolate taste to this.
I'll tell you what the taste I get at. I call it floral. It's in here floral. Like flower. Like a perfumey taste. Not the strong one. And it's certainly not the cedar. Cedar to me is like when you get that Cohiba Lancheros, the skinny ones. You could taste that cedar instantly the minute you put it in your mouth.
I think it's a little spicy.
It's very possible that every one of you are going to taste something different.
Right, absolutely.
Looks like everyone's starting to get into it a little bit. What do you think about strength in terms of nicotine?
Very light. Very light.
And mild. Without question, my book.
What about the body, like mouthfeel?
Come back on that?
The body, as far as mouthfeel, like I was explaining to Jess about the scotch tasting heavy as opposed to bourbon, it's a little thinner.
Light residual taste. It isn't overwhelming on your tongue, the roof of your mouth. It's not biting.
What about the finish? After you blow the smoke out, give your palate a minute or so to cleanse itself. Any residual flavors?
It's light.
I still taste, to me, it still tastes spicy. This is like
Spicy bites your tongue?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point, yeah.
You can taste a little bit of wood in it, too. Like in,
Like an earthy thing?
yeah, on the finish.
Now there's a difference between how one draws. Like I tend to draw heavy as opposed to someone that could, they say the nubs are like, you can smoke it for an hour. I can't smoke a nub for an hour.
Yeah, well, you're also under the fan and your tongue and your cigar right inside.
No, you'll be alright. The fan's reversed. Pulling the
Okay.
smoke up.
Even if they got it for $3.50,
I'll tell you, I'm liking it a lot more as I'm smoking a little bit longer.
And you don't want it too hot on you don't want it too hot. You want an ash.
Well, the cigar will tell you when you're smoking it too fast. There's no, there's no right or wrong
Right.
rate at which you're supposed to smoke.
Right.
If your mouth literally feels hot, you're smoking.
Cigar, you can feel it though. When a cigar gets hot, the taste changes. It gets a little bitter.
Oh yeah,
things like that.
you'll know it right away.
See, if you look at Bud's cigar and Brian's, right? And Eddie, we're not even. You're a little bit further down the pipe than we are, and we haven't flicked yet. We're slow smokers.
Yeah, see, I'm not.
He'll
Drink
tell-
fast, I
Yeah.
eat fast.
He'll tell you about tobacco because he's a chewer of cigars. He can do that. He'll tell you because he'll taste it going down his throat the minute.
Yeah.
Or you already have it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I said it's really light. There's really not much there as
Right.
far as any specific. Besides, the biggest thing is like the woodsy, and I got here, it's kind of nutty. If you take a lot of nuts when you eat them, if you like right away when you put them in your mouth, there's a specific essence that you feel because of the oil and the aromas and stuff. And if you just like drinking wine or whiskey or something, if you take the time instead of just swallowing it, you'll notice the charcoal flavor. You'll notice the age. I mean, there's like all this stuff that if you take the time, you'll notice that. And that's why some people smoke cigars. Some people smoke cigars because other people do, or they can't really give you a good reason because they haven't thought about it. It's just something that they've been doing for so long. And then once you stop and you start thinking about it, you actually taste the cigar, you'll be surprised at what you do notice.
Hmm. I roll it in my mouth a lot too, like if I'm tasting it.
That's why a lot of us guys drink water with a cigar, because you can really evaluate a little better because you keep washing your palate out.
Without question.
No, honestly, I'm liking this much better.
I'm enjoying it, to tell you that, very much.
It's a good morning cigar. Just before you get something to eat or get a first cup of coffee, you really don't want to be harassed in the morning. You just want to have a nice, easy smoke. It's a good thing for the morning because there's not a lot of things going on with a cigar right away, even though there are, but they're really light.
I was thinking that it would be a good after a heavy meal.
Same difference.
It's not.
It's not going to assault you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Somebody that doesn't smoke that you want to introduce to cigars, this is a good thing to start out with.
It's a non-offensive cigar that if you gave it to a person who liked light cigars or heavy cigars, they would say it's good. But it wouldn't offend them, where a guy smoking light cigars all the time would taste.
Smoke some Maduro and he said, wow,
Boom!
what's that?
Yeah, he'll get killed with it.
This just gives you a chance to get to sip with it a little bit, get to
Right.
know it.
Right.
That'll lead you into other things. Well, that wasn't bad. I didn't get that heavy taste in my mouth. I didn't feel that odds on. It's like, well, I'm gonna have to smoke another one.
Your dad and I are about the same on our taste with cigars, because he and I a lot of times say we like it pretty close. Blair in here with a light cigar, he would know right away, because he smokes heavy cigars.
I'm getting a small runner. I don't know if it's from the air over here or not.
Well, I got just a little bit. It's kind of keeping after itself.
That was up until
Yeah, it's about
just a
there.
minute ago.
Well, maybe I'm wrong about what Jess did, but
I like this.
you're right, there it goes. Yeah, take a look at that. See
Just a
that?
little bit, just about halfway down.
It's taken off there, took off on this. Dad just noticed it too, and see it's cut it a little bit.
Could be the fan.
It could be the airflow.
Yeah.
Mine's a little wavy, but not anything I consider problematic.
No, not yet.
Turn the cigar a little bit, Jim. If it's the fan, it'll even out. If the fan's what's causing that to do that, and you keep rotating the cigar a little bit.
Yeah.
then
That's what I try to do.
Right,
I
right.
try to rotate it.
Very good. These guys are right.
No,
That's from sitting in the corner in the other room there,
Oh, I know,
And
yeah.
the fan blowing on
Right.
all the time.
Right.
You learn the tricks.
Absolutely.
Well, what you got to do is when they start that fan, is start it up like you did in reverse, so it's not blowing down and pulling up and distributing.
You're pretty good at tasting stuff. I got to tell you that. 'Cause, no, when you've talked about different cigars, we've had conversations.
Yeah, yeah.
You nailed it on a lot of them.
Well, it's because I enjoy what I do. I don't
Yeah, no,
smoke-
I can see that because
Yeah.
he's got a good palate for these things. Some guys just light up and
It's a boys thing. You know?
they're smoking a cigar, but they're not.
enjoying it. Well, it's funny. I know what I don't like.
Absolutely. Right.
But you don't really know what you do like, though. See, that's the difference. It's one thing, it's easy to know what you don't like.
Yeah.
But when you actually tell somebody, I smoke cigars because I like this, there's a lot of guys who are like, well, you know, I can't say that. So that's why I say in the morning you got to kind of smoke that you want when you haven't had your coffee, you just got up, but you want to have
Take a look at this, partner. Oh, 1 second.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I get everyone in the frame.
There's 3 levels of, and you're in the business, so color, you do it all the time. There's 3 levels there. That tobacco is much, much lighter.
Yeah, his is altogether, because this is 2 levels.
Yeah.
But see, that white you're getting is because of the wrapper. That's not the tobacco.
Right.
If you break this open with the ash, you'd see a whole different story inside.
Right.
This white you're seeing is because of the wrapper.
Okay.
Anyone have any idea where that white comes from?
I can't put it in the specific scientific terms, but it's to do with the construction of the wrapper itself, the plant type, and the soil where it's grown and shit like that.
In the soil. That ash is actually what's
Burning the sugars and stuff.
yeah, minerals, elements, anything that's in the soil that the
Right.
plant absorbs can change
The
the
plant
color of the
absorbed all this material. This is what the outcome is when it's burned.
Here's what Shankin said too, and it's Cigar Aficionado, to do an ash, to take the ash off, what they said to do was this.
Yeah.
1 tap.
But if you want to try to see, like I was saying, how it's made
Shouldn't
up.
do that.
But that's what they say to do.
You shouldn't do that.
Okay, tell me why.
If you smoke something like a Cameroon that has a fragile wrapper, you're taking
shatter
a
it.
chance of cracking the wrapper when you tap it on the ashtray. You should not tap the cigar.
No. If anything else, you want to do something like this.
You either kind
Real
of want
easy.
to roll it so that it knocks the
They
ash
say
off.
1 tap on the thing.
Tap
Yeah,
it
if
with
you
your
got a good
fingers.
cigar, it's not going to be fragile. If you got a fragile cigar, you done screwed it
See,
up.
now I don't usually smoke a lot of Cameroon.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah,
I
if
do it.
you do that with a Cameroon, you're taking a real big chance of cracking that wrapper.
Okay.
And you see how that looks on the inside, and it's a little bit darker. And a lot of the white ash has gone away because the inside tobacco is different than the wrapper.
Anyone
It
ever
has to be airflow over here because this is evening out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good point, thank you.
Anyone ever have a cigar that looked like a sparkler? Sparkles?
Yeah.
Pops? Not like big explosions, but little sparks.
Usually when the veins burn, they do that.
Magnesium in the soil.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That affects the flavor a lot.
I'm getting proud of this kid. This is good.
Yeah, the only reason I say that, I had a in Connecticut the other night, and I could watch it sparkle.
We're talking about 3 years, look at how he's right on top of everything.
Because that's the difference that you have between the Connecticut's, the Browns, and the Maduro wrappers, is that you get a real earth and a real, like, real, they call it bold, but it would have to be described more like a real heavy charcoal flavor to it. But then when you take the wrapper into account and the mixtures from the way, like he's saying, with the soil and how it affects the taste of the tobacco in the burn, that either makes that charcoal flavor get stronger or weaker. And that leads into your floral taste and things like that. Depending on what you ate too during dinner, what's on your palate, that'll either add to that flavor or else take away from it.
Continues, CONTINU.
Continuous?
Continues.
Yeah.
Continues to.
Yeah, you'll really notice that. For example, you smoke this cigar in the morning with a cup of coffee, and then try smoking it again after lunch.
Yeah.
You might not like it, or even as late as after dinner.
Yeah.
I brought it continues to taste mild a quarter of the way.
Yeah, mine's mild.
Yeah.
I like
We
the
all in
mild.
agreement on
I
that
like the
one?
mild.
You like it, yeah. This is good.
It's a very mild cigar.
I'd say it's a little more to the medium size.
This is my favorite size, one of my favorite sizes. I like a Churchill too, but they're a little longer, but this is nice. You got a varied group of taste here, so,
That's the important part.
yeah.
And I like what you said, depending on when you smoke it. You
Yeah.
could have, you could have a dinner that had garlic. Right. You'll taste something with the garlic. You could be coming down with a cold,
I smoked Davos on the cruise. My wife said to me, he didn't say to me twice, you stink, because they were milder. So sometimes I buy a mild cigar. Now, if I come down here and I have a heavy one, if I lit up like when I smoke a lot of punch, I light one of them up or one of the heavier ones, the person used to, you stink.
Oh, I smelled that the other day when I had a couple that I was smoking that were really dark, really heavy. It's like, holy hell.
Yeah.
I was outside.
Yeah. No, I know. This has been very good. You know.
Nobody did anything. I'll bet you that place.
You know, the only thing that I never see get done is the fact of having a cigar smoke where cigar smokers get to evaluate the smokes. Because every once in a while I get the chance where I'm not smoking and somebody else is, and you get those smells that you miss when you're smoking.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And the flavors, and you know, that's like a whole other side that you never really notice because you're smoking most of the time.
Well, I always ask, what are you smoking? You ever notice that? What you got?
Why?
Because, especially with Bud, because he and I like the same things, and you kind of like the same cigar style. What do you got? You go back and you look at your own and stuff. I see you take a lot of those onyx and dark wrappers.
I've been liking those onyx.
Yeah,
Dark wrappers.
you take dark wrappers a lot. You mix
Everything.
it up.
Yeah, I do all the time.
You're a mixer.
I never grab the same thing because I want to
No.
try something different.
No.
Besides, it gives me the opportunity with guys that want to smoke but are afraid to because they had one bad cigar.
Right.
So now they've got the idea, the taste that it was really bitter, it was really nasty, whatever. So I could say, well, what do you like? And they could tell me they like a light cigar, they like a medium cigar. I could say, okay, well here's 3 different ideas. Smoke one, keep the band on it. That way, if you liked it or didn't like it, you can tell me, and I can tell you to try something else.
How's the tobacco you taste in the back end? Right.
It's getting there. It's not really gained anything yet. It's kind of been staying the same.
It's consistent. Yeah. I think we all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
The same from the beginning. This is cool.
You should be able to pick up a lot of flavors, because you can exhale through your nose.
Yeah, all the time.
So you should be able to pick up flavors that
Yeah.
other people can't.
No, you don't. You notice that I do that all the time?
Yeah, you'll pick up flavors that someone like me won't, because I can't exhale through my nose.
Little wood.
And then he said to me the other day, maybe the problem we can't read
I love those compliments.
yeah. I said, you don't want any.
You go through your nose at all?
Sometimes, if I inhale.
Are you inhaling when you do that? No, just rolling out.
Yeah, but I can't blow that.
Am I one of the few that do that around here?
No, he can do it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It all depends on where your sinus cavity is.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with
I got
that.
sinus.
The only way I can do it is to try to partially swallow the smoke
Right.
and then push it back up and I can get it.
I got many teeth.
Were these from the same
Because you can buy a
lot?
$40 fan or $340.
They came out of the same batch that I received.
Because I know what.
I don't know whether or not they're from the same lot or not. I would assume they might be because of the ash variation, especially Benny's.
So I get the one that looks like.
When they, I guess my question is, could one be older than the other?
Potentially.
You go with just a lighting, the light smell, you still gotta buy $90
Or
fan.
aged not properly, or
Right in the front.
when it was shipped from the factory, was
The
the
same one.
cargo container too hot,
Done.
right temperature?
It's a stick, you're not
You really have no idea.
But all that could affect,
Those
Oh, yeah,
two
yeah.
got to
and
Each plant could be different too, I mean, to a certain degree.
for 3 of them. And then,
To an extent, yeah.
I
'Cause
put 50.
no 2 leaves are going to be the same.
well, I guess like when they're growing it, if, with the water distribution, maybe the plants on the edge of the field get less water, and the ones inside get more sunlight or less sunlight, things like that. That'll affect it.
Well, that's the same way even from the top of the plant to the bottom of the plant. The top leaves are usually a lot lighter and sweeter. That's what they call blending.
No, top
top
leaves
leaves
are
are the
heavier.
strongest.
They're the Lahara leaves.
That's the shit that I don't like.
Yeah, they're the strongest.
Yeah.
Bottom ones are the.
They prime the plant upside down from the bottom up. So the
Yeah.
top leaves get let in the sun longer, usually thicker. You know, they get beat up by wind, rain, you know, whatever elements that are thrown at them.
They use for the filler.
And because they're so oily, they typically burn slower.
Yeah. It's starting to get strong, starting to get bitey.
Yeah, it's starting to change up to the 50% mark.
Well, we can interpret
And also, we don't know where they put their label because the label usually indicates where they want you to stop. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Depends on the manufacturer.
Right.
Well, I think it's safe to say that every manufacturer would feel much better with you if you only smoked their cigar to the band and then bought another one.
Right.
I traditionally take the band off and keep on going.
Because that's the part where it counts.
Right.
That's where everything comes together. That's where all the flavors mix together. I mean, it's like, this is what a cigar is, right on the bottom.
Looks like everyone's progressing about past the first third,
Yep.
moving into the second.
Yep.
I certainly am.
Do we notice any transition in flavors, body, strength, anything since you've moved
It's
along?
been consistent all the way through.
But it's starting to get stronger, like I said. I get taste like an acidy taste to it. It's not bitey though, I mean, but you can taste it changing.
As it gets to the second third, is it to get a better taste? Is it better to get the ash off sooner? Does the ash impart any?
It will help insulate the cigar. Like I was saying earlier, if you smoke too fast, cigar gets hot. You'll be able to taste it. If you constantly knock the ash off and you're looking at a glowing end, the chances are that the cigar's going to get pretty hot pretty fast.
Well, and you know,
We said that yesterday. You see somebody with a glow on all the time, they're smoking a hot cigar. You see some guys constantly with that.
Well, that's usually because they're cigarette smokers.
Could be.
That's usually, my kid does the same thing. I tell him you gotta put it down or else you gotta, stop smoking cigarettes for a while.
I'm not big into cigar etiquette, but a lot of people say to let the ash go about an inch before you knock it off. That's supposed to be a good benchmark for
Right.
about how often you're supposed to knock the ash off.
Well, it controls the burn too. A lot of times if you don't let the ash, then it tends to make the end hotter and it burns the jacket on the wrapper on the outside, and it gives it a different character.
my guy was gonna.
I've had a lot of cigars, like if I were to knock the ash off now, the burn might get uneven. And then as soon as the ash begins to develop again, it straightens right out.
Yeah.
What do you think? If you were to put it out right now, would you buy another one later on?
It's nowhere on the print. And these were sticking
Not-
strictly
not
to
knowing the price?
documents in the print. And I can't put
Yeah.
that in.
I would buy it.
Well, I'm gonna get. Fine.
I'd be less likely to buy another one because they're just too light. There really isn't a whole lot of character to it for me.
And he can start that once I'm paid full.
Besides, with the smoke just drifting by every now and then, it's got a real strong acidy smell to it. It doesn't have that real floral, like if you notice a lot of times when you walk up the stairs, as you go up the stairs, the smell changes. And as you get up here, and then it's altogether different. A lot of times when you first walk up the stairs, you get a good cigar smell. Mostly because you got all the different kinds of cigars, but they're usually, really good class cigars. Not like the 7-Eleven cigars where they got the real ashy flavor to them.
Yeah, sometimes the smoke on a cigar can be really pungent. It'll
Yeah,
takes my breath away and make my eyes water.
Right.
yeah. That's kind of what we're getting with this. Whereas when you get some of the other cigars, you get more of an enjoyable. You kind of get a bunch of different things at the same time, and you got to stop and think about what it is. It's not an assault, and it's not offensive, but it's different.
Where would you say I am now? Right just about get to the third?
Yeah, you're about the same place I am.
Right.
Just about through the second third. Now, traditionally, how far would you let that go before you put it down? Much further?
Yeah, I'd go to about an inch. Right here.
Yeah, if I'm just kicking back with nowhere to go, I'll smoke, like you said, when there's about an inch left. If I'm on the run, busy, might not smoke.
I smoke it till it burns my fingers.
We all do that. Why lie? That's right. Now,
Smoke
I
till
do
it
that.
burns your lips.
Yeah.
Or your nose.
After hanging
For
out,
me,
well,
couldn't be a bad thing.
I do that with a punch. I take it down. But you never know, I call it the mystery section. You never know what you're going to get when you get down there.
Like Cracker Jack.
Yeah, there are some cigars you can't smoke that short
Yeah.
because when you start getting down into about an inch, they
they
turn on you. And they
Turn
tell it's the cigar telling you it's done.
Right, Perdomo.
Put it down.
Well, you know, you get
Not
that.
Perdomo, what's the other one we smoke? Champagne.
That's pretty much.
Perdomo,
That's
yeah.
a dumb one, yeah.
That
The
always
Ashtons,
happens.
the Ashtons are. That's the only one I've smoked that never got that way. A lot of the
Avon.
Maduros, yeah. Well, the Maduro, the darker the oiler the wrapper,
Right.
the sooner that happens.
Avo, you can go right down at the bottom.
A lot of the Browns or the Connecticut's, the lighter ones, that usually you can get them all the way down. That's one of the bad things about the Maduros. They really have that character all the way through, and it really comes out right on the end. And it usually sticks with you for a while.
The drawer on mine is getting a little
So of course it's not as much
harder to
as
draw.
schools. Well, then they find out,
Slightly.
first of all, half of them aren't even there. 'Cause they close
How would you describe that?
The draw's just getting a little tighter.
What is it?
The draw's just
Not
getting a little
even
tighter.
enough licenses.
Well, we were talking the other day about how you keep your cigar dry. Like, you were a wet smoker. It might get tighter because you're wetting the tobacco and it's expanding within the wrapper, so that really be constricted. But if it's dry, I don't know, it could just be a really compacted spot in the filler.
Well,
I'm really not sure.
a lot of guys, when they smoke them, they're doing this, and they don't realize it,
Pinch it.
and it rolls them and it packs them down. I have arthritis in my hands. I hold stuff a little bit tighter than some people do sometimes, so you got to really watch that when you certain cigars. If they're really good draw when they start, the way that they're put together, they'll pack you just like a cigarette will.
Now it got back to normal again. It might have been just a piece in there, but I'm going to keep putting down consistent because
Yeah, I have to agree with that. My draw just seems to be the same.
Yeah.
yeah, it's getting.
I've had some cigars and you gotta huff and gotta puff. And, but this is,
And then you don't enjoy it.
no,
No, you
right.
hate it.
This is very even.
The flavors, any notice any changes?
I think mine's getting a little bit more peppery. I actually felt the fruity mouthfeel. And a little bit, now it's starting to get a little bit more spicy peppery.
I'm getting the same thing.
This is something that I would give to Alan,
Yeah,
my daughter's
exactly, right.
boyfriend, who's not a cigar smoker. He smokes usually when he's with me. But I know he likes a light cigar. I think if I pushed him into something really heavy,
He'd kill him.
he wouldn't like that.
Right. That's true.
So this would be, again, I think this is a good after dinner cigar, after a heavy dinner cigar. And you've had like a porterhouse steak and baked potatoes and like salad with a Russian dressing. You know, that's a heavy meal, or blue cheese dressing. You don't want something, at least I don't want anything that would, you know.
I don't think you taste the cigar after that.
Well, that's a good
Typically, that's why after a heavy meal, I go for a much stronger cigar
Mhm.
so that I can taste it.
Yeah,
Like
you're
a
right.
Maduro.
Yeah, because if you go with, something really mild, you can't pick up on the flavors because your palate's already overwhelmed from the meal.
You got all that fat and all that starch and stuff on your tongue. You really can't taste anything.
Well, all I know, it makes,
But everybody's different.
I know, it makes
preferences are
perfect
different.
sense. The last time I had a very heavy cigar, I got very lightheaded and a little queasy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I wouldn't, for me, it's, a heavy meal would be at a restaurant, I'd have to drive home, and I, wouldn't want the regurgitation, the agita,
Typically, I'll only get that queasy feeling if I smoke a real full body cigar without having any kind of meal.
Yeah.
On an empty stomach, I'll
Opus
definitely
X.
get that. Now, if I smoke a real full body cigar after a meal, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, open sex after a meal only for me, period, no questions asked.
Well, it seems to give you the ability to be able to discern a little bit different because however it works, you have that ability to have different flavors because of the way they get through to your tongue. It's kind of like a proving ground.
Yeah, everyone's going to have a different tolerance. A lot of times it's the nicotine that's doing that. It's making you feel queasy or lightheaded.
Yeah.
And you know, everyone's tolerance is going to be different. A good way to sort of get rid of that when it starts is sugar. For whatever reason, it helps your body break down the nicotine.
Usually when you get something like that too, you find out if you're drinking a glass of whiskey, you know, or good scotch or something like that, you find a lot of times you won't even notice it. That's why you see a lot of guys that are really strong on the fact that they won't smoke certain cigars certain times unless they have a beverage. Either, you know, good strong black cup of coffee, something that's constant. Because if you put a lot of cream and sugar in it, it takes away from what you do get to experience. A lot of stuff that you can taste by itself when you're smoking a cigar, you won't be able to, and it'll give you a confusion rather than a disseminated taste to it. That's why some guys do that, because they have that, the whiskeys or the sugars and the flavors in that essentially a lot of times. And they're not lingering, they don't stick in your mouth, so it gives you a chance every time you smoke a cigar to taste something different.
I heard somewhere to try drinking a soda.
Yeah,
If you're getting that queasy feeling,
that's sugar.
soda.
Yeah,
Not diet soda, regular
sugar.
You don't have to drink the whole thing, just a couple mouthfuls. Usually that'll take care of it.
Yeah. That's a good thing with this stuff here. It's not real sweet, but it still has enough sugar in it. Besides, it helps keep your mouth clean so you can taste some of the other things.
So what's the general consensus? Mild, medium,
Mild.
full?
Mild. I think
Yeah.
it's mild.
Mild.
I think it's more the woods than me.
How do you think it compares to other cigars in that range?
You know, you might kick this up to a medium. What do you think?
Finishing, it's a medium. It starts out real easy and it ends up being a light medium. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely a mild medium. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a full medium.
No, it's not a definite medium.
And most of that flavor seems to be coming in the finish.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
not the initial draw and smoke.
Right. When you first get it in your mouth.
Yeah, it
that's
seems kind of mild when you first inhale, but then the finish is more of a medium.
It has more of a nutty, leathery kind of finish to it.
You're getting some leather.
Yeah. It's like Jess said, it's more of a cigar you want to introduce somebody to that doesn't smoke, to give them a chance to find out on their own, you know, what they like, what they don't like, instead of putting them off right away. The finish, you could definitely get the leather.
What do you think it's similar to that you normally smoke, or that you have smoked? Does it taste similar to anything in particular? Or is it just something that's just all its own?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I can see it, but I can't pick it out of my head. Some of the general brands, you go to a lot of the cigar shops, there's a given that they carry because it's like the guy walking on the street's going to pick it up, mostly because of the price. And it's not a bad cigar, it's just a cheaper cigar, and it's more 9 out of 10 guys that don't smoke on a regular basis are going to remember that, just because of that, and that's what you hear. You know, it's kind of like an everyday kind of smoke. Where you get into the CIOs, you get the Olivias, you get into Domo or something that's more of a guy that smokes for a while, that he's going to gravitate towards these cigars for a lot of different reasons, usually for the taste and the effects that you have when you're smoking it. Some of the bottom end of the Grand Habanas have that general cigar line, and see, that's the problem. They're not something that you smoke a lot because it's something that the everyday guy would pick up because he doesn't know any better.
For me, if this had like 88 rating from Cigar Aficionado. That's probably what I would, you know, if I wanted an inexpensive cigar that might be light. This is, you know, maybe I like something a little bit darker, a little bit stronger. But again, for a light, to me, for a light cigar, this is about an 88 rating, 80, 86, something like
Looks like everyone's about final third.
Yep.
About that. Anyone cigar getting hot? This is getting shorter. Unpleasantly hot.
No.
Well behaved.
Getting a little warm, but it's not unpleasant.
that. I think it's smoking a little bit more. At least mine is. It's starting to, maybe because we're in close quarters, but my eyes are beginning to water.
It's definitely lingering a lot longer. The aftertaste is a lot stronger.
Anyone happen to check the time before we started?
A quarter after 1.
What do you think of burn rate? It's been about 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Burn
Yeah.
rate is very good.
How long do you think you traditionally get out of a cigar this size? So 5 by 50.
50 minutes, 40, about an hour.
Five by 50,
A half hour.
I can get an hour and a half out of these.
Really?
Yeah, I could go longer too if I wanted to. I was smoking a little bit to get some of the.
I find that if I have the cigar in my hands, I smoke them a lot faster. If I'm at home and I'm doing a write-up on a cigar, I can easily get an hour and a half to 2 hours out of a Robusto.
Yeah. But then if I'm sitting there talking or something, I'm going to smoke. If it's good too, it's going to smoke a lot faster.
You know why this seems a little hot to me, because this is way faster than I normally smoke.
Anything that stands out about the cigar you're really liking or really disliking?
I think it's a very good mild smoke.
Construction seems to be really good.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice, even burn, ash is nice and tight, real fine. Any burn problems I'm having over here with this draft, if I just rotate the cigar a little bit, corrects right away. Construction's really good.
What about flavors now in the final third? Anyone get anything different? Is it more or less consistent throughout?
Pretty consistent. Nice smell. I like the smell.
It's pretty consistent.
I think it went from fruity to spicy, now a little woody for me.
Yep, that's what I thought.
I think that buttery taste is kicking up a little.
Really. Well, towards the end, it's getting real peppery now.
I like a cigar. I'd like a cup of coffee with this.
Yeah.
Now I would. In the beginning, I was.
Yeah, definitely good coffee would be good.
It's definitely turning.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I didn't mention when I gave you the cigar, you might have noticed it written on the bags. These cigars are kept at 65% relative humidity and about 67 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm very particular on how I store my cigars. And I think that if you let the humidity get a little drier, 65, they tend to burn better. So if you think this is burning better than something you would have gotten downstairs, and traditionally, cigar shops are going to keep the relative humidity higher. You got to look at it realistically. They got this really big door that's being opened and closed multiple times throughout the day. You got a big leak, more or less. So they up the humidity a little bit so that everything stays constant. It doesn't dry out. I like my cigars a little drier.
That's what I like.
I think I'm about done with this.
Yeah.
Too busy concentrating on
I'm
that
finding a
paper,
nice
Benny.
finish.
You like it?
Yeah, I like the finish on it. It's very good for what I like. I could go all the way on this substance now to the fingernail.
It's getting real strong for me now. It's getting to the point that I'm not enjoying it a whole lot. Getting real bitter.
For me, mine's getting really pungent. It's burning my nose.
Yeah.
The smoke coming out the end of the cigar is really
That's
pungent.
what I was saying. Leathery, peppery is like offensive almost. It's turning like really hard right now.
No, now it's changed. That's your way. Right.
I think you're right. I'm lower than anybody, I think.
It turns fast. It just like all
Where
of
are
a
you
sudden
at?
starts
You're
turning.
about the same.
There's no prize for getting done first, Jim.
No, I know.
He just sucks harder than everybody else. Yeah, you can. The aftertaste and everything's really getting offensive.
Got those windows open and the fan on.
Not bad over here.
I'm done.
Yeah.
It'll tell you when it's done.
It's done.
done.
Yeah, it's done.
You can make a note on there. That's about an hour. What would you feel? What would you be comfortable paying for it?
$5.
No more than 6.
Yeah, $2 or $3. That's for me.
About 5.
Any last impressions? Any really good, really bad? Any stand out?
Now,
The only biggest
it's a nice
impression-
cigar, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I'd say I hated it,
No.
but it's something I wouldn't prefer. It's like, except for what Jess said, for somebody I want to introduce to, having a smoke, that'd be a nice thing to, bring them in on.
Definitely seems to be turning at the end here.
Real bad.
Yeah.
It's getting bitter.
Yeah.
When do you think this cigar is best suited as far as time of day, work around the house?
If I'm sitting down and reading with a cup of coffee, I'd smoke it.
Right before lunch, mid-morning, something,
Yeah. I wouldn't bring it to, like, if we were going to a party and I was going to have a good smoke, I probably wouldn't put it in a couple of my pocket and pass them out, but it's okay. It's a nice cigar.
It wasn't offensive like some can be.
He's going to tell us it's a Cohiba and a Royale.
Bring in the good palate. Now, this guy knows it.
I don't know. I'm a piker.
A piker? What's that? Is that like a bandit or a wrangler?
That's like a shoemaker.
I thought Piper was always a cheapskate.
Whenever you're done, the key is 001.